Glad you could join us, and we will take you first of all to Apam, a town in the central region where hundreds have gathered as the bodies of teenagers who drowned at the beach in the central region are being laid to rest today. 11 bodies of the deceased 13 victims have been laid in state early this morning. Now, we will touch base with Richard Kojo Nyako for the very latest at the funeral. But in the meantime, Ghana Police Service has launched investigations into an attack on the chiefs and people of Upper Discove in the Western region. A youth group from the Lower Discove area on Monday physically assaulted some members of the Upper Discove Traditional Council, leaving them with various injuries. Western Region Police PRO DSP Olivia Eravna Ediku confirmed the incident to Joy News.
Akunan Council had information that some elders, some chiefs, Queen Mother, and some elders from the Upper Discove have been attacked in the town courtroom, and that they rescued to the palace of Nanakusi Ajima. So police moved in and indeed they met Nana Diekukra, who is a sub-chief. Nana the Chimanza, Queen Mother of True, Christina Yekua Yeboa, the mother of the born Himaji, Salot Yeboa, Jonah Edu, and Sadiq, Sojabu. They had various degrees of injuries, and yesterday police sent them to hospital. As I speak to you, they are still in the hospital being attended to.
Okay. You say that these youth tried to rescue Nana Kwesi Agyemang's palace.
And that some of his people have rescued them to his palace. So he's informing police. So police went to the palace and they met these 6 people who had been assaulted, and they sent them to hospital.
So is that to suggest then that Nana Kwesi Agyemang himself is not regarded as a suspect in this?
I cannot tell. The case was just, the incident happened just yesterday. And I understand from the police in Agran, Nana Agyemang himself was not in town. Obunfon was also not in town. But I believe that if investigation is ongoing, there's a need to invite any of them to be there.
But have the boys been caught so far, the perpetrators of this act?
So far, no arrests have been made. The victims who were sent to hospital have not been able to give police a statement as to exactly what happened. They will be able to give us statement, tell us, or maybe give some names of those who assaulted them, so that those people can be arrested. And after investigation, if they are found culpable, then they face the law. They face the law. But as now, we've not been able to make any arrest because we've not been able to talk to the victims who were assaulted yesterday. And the district commander informed me that yesterday he spoke with them and they are still not working to speak with police. So we are hoping that today we'll be able to get some information from them so that it will help us to know exactly what happened yesterday.
That was DSP Olivia Erabna Ediku. Let's go back to the earlier story where the 11 children who drowned at Apam are being buried today in a funeral service. Richard Kojo Nyakon has joined us on the line. Richard, first of all, when you came to us this morning, you described a very solemn scene. Describe that situation for us once again.
What has just happened here is that the coffins or the bodies have been taken away from the burial ground. The service just ended, and so these 11 out of the 13 kids are going to be lowered into their graves. They are saying their family members and the community folk are saying goodbye to them. It's been a solemn service here with their schools representing. So the registers were marked here, and then they were marked absent, and subsequently cancelled their names from the school's register. That particular ceremony was very touching, and then it got a lot of people crying that these people are no longer with them. At the ceremonial ground, you see 11 of the coffins with 11 pictures that have been placed in front of each coffin. We say 11 that are going to be buried now. One was buried, one out of the 13 was buried the very day the body was washed ashore. The other body is still in the morgue and waiting for the family to identify. So that is why we have 11 people here. Central Regional Minister, the newly sworn-in Central Regional Minister, Justice Lemari Brasan, says that it's very uncomfortable for her starting her tenure as a regional minister, greeted with this particular incident.
Right.
As an interim measure, they are going to ensure the training of lifeguards along the beaches in the central region, so that should people go reveling or go swimming, these people would perform some rescue operation for them. Maybe how represented the president and called for calm, because what has happened is a very painful one. They wouldn't want to be in any of the shoes of their family, and so government, on behalf of government, gives each family member, each family, 10,000 Ghana cedis. For the children that survive, they give them 5,000. The parents are supposed to be given 10,000 Ghana cedis, and so the ceremony has ended here.
Richard, tell us about the reaction of the families when they heard about this compensation package from the presidency.
Well, they have really been enthused about it because what they believe they have lost is bigger than the compensation packages that have been given them. But for now, there hasn't been that kind of visible reaction from them. They are following the right to the graveside for their relatives to be buried, and so that is what it is. But in the morning, because of the restrictions, a lot of the community folk could not get access to the burial service, and so the gates were closed upon them. They said that, well, they felt that ceremony was going to be performed at the time because that place was bigger, and all of them would have acted ways with the people, but that was not to be. But these restrictions were put in place as a result of the adherence to the COVID-19 protocol.
Richard Kojo-Nyarko there reporting from Apam. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, the newly appointed Northeast Regional Minister Yadana Zakari on Monday, March 15, assumed office as the second minister of the new region, promising to tackle armed robbery and improve education and health. The minister said among other challenges in healthcare delivery, the region was one of the poorest staffed in the country, with only 10 medical doctors currently at post, as against the regional requirement of 84, serving nearly 60,000 residents. He also said educational performance of students over the years has been significantly poorer in comparison to other regions in the country. The minister described the situation as worrying and therefore called on the people of the region to rally behind and offer him their support. Let's hear Elias Utanko.
Nobody is coming to change our situation until we accept the reality of the fact that our destiny lies in our hands.
The regional minister has met his core staff in the region on his first day at post and laying bare his plans and ambitions.
So collectively, let's come together and work as a team. I don't believe that the current crop of young people schooling in the Northeast region are so stupid that they cannot make the way to the medical school. There's a systemic problem that we all need to come together to address. This is just but a gist into the issue. Let's come to the area of education. We have 12 secondary schools in the Northeast region. 4 of them are in their nascent stages. 8 are those that present students for the WASI. The last time we presented students, about 4,999. The story is that only 377 of them passed with C6 to A1 and qualified to go to the next level, representing 9.7%. The rest of the majority, where are they going? But the youth are our future. Can't we do something about this? Can we blame Ghana for what is happening in Northeast? Let's lace our boots and take that challenge. I believe when we work as a team, we will succeed. Let's look at security. I know your problems. He has briefed me. I have the handover notes. I know the situation. What I'm saying here is that I do not have the magic wand to think that I can solve the problems alone.
Away from that story, residents of Kanvili say they fear going back to the days of guinea worm infestation if issues of lack of potable water are not addressed. Kanvili, Tunayili, Kpanwumo, Naftina, Saptingli and Gbanyamini communities in the northern region have been battling with water crisis for some months now, forcing them to rely on a polluted dam for drinking and other purposes. Martina Bugri has more.
It is that time of the year when most water sources in the northern region like dams, wells, dugouts among others, which serve several communities, dry up. The prayer of most residents normally is the rain should set in and save them from the hassle. Today we visit some communities in the Kanvili electoral area which have been hit by water crisis. Fatih Mohammed said drinking water from the dam is a worry because there's a forest close by where people defecate.
Yensu so yeko djuma ye bentima tena ka msuo yeko pensuo sa na dia u ba be sa we at times na wako bibi fufura san ko pensuo ababenu de benum keke se be high the problem no nti mpacho nsuo we de me high say de yenum na high papa because forest bensa we nsuo we nti oho na ye obia kwani wo nti nsuo to ana nyina sa be
Another resident, Florence Bewele, said she is forced to recycle water in the midst of COVID-19 by bathing in a basin so that she can gather water to flush her WC.
Now we are buying tanker. Yes, we are buying tanker, and the tanker comes once a month. Even the once a month that we buy that water is because we have to manage. We are recycling water. We are recycling. When I bath, for instance, I bath in a basin because I wouldn't like to bath and waste the water. So I bath in the basin and then use that very basin water to flush the WC. My kids, for instance, I've even discouraged them from bathing using the WC because it wouldn't, for kids can't manage like an adult managing. So they have to rather come out, dig a hole and ease themselves and close it. So actually it's unbearable. Now we are in COVID era. We are supposed to be washing our hands regularly. If there's no water, in a day, if you have to put a bucket under the tank, we will take like 3-4 buckets because you have to.
Kodima Fusena said for the past 2 years, she has not had water run through her pipes, and searching for water each day gets her into trouble because she's always late for work.
There's one particular problem we have been facing here, and we don't know whether we are not part of Tamale or we want them to tell us. And the problem we are facing here is about our water issue. The water, I think, since last 2 years, December, water just came once through our tap, and that time it was even midnight when the water flowed. And up to now, during the rainy season, we were even having hope that rainy season, the way it's raining, we'll get water. And even that's even the time we were even now tired. Always water is not flowing. Throughout the rainy season, we didn't get water. Up to now, not even a drop from our type. You have children, you will get up. You have to bath the children before you go to work. And because of this water issue, I've been having problem with my boss. Always, I'm the last person to go to work. Am I the only one having problems?
The assemblyman for the area, Abdulrahman Samuel, said even though the assembly has tried to intervene, there are some challenges. He said what they have now are 2 wells the MP for the area has dug.
Currently, it is only Kamvli that gets frequent water supply. The remaining 5, that is Tunaile, Satangle, Naptina, Banyamni, and Komu, do not get water. Part of Satangle gets once in a while, part of Tunaile gets one in a while. But for Naptina, for Banyamni, and for Komu, and then majority of Tunaile, for the past 6 months, we've not had water flowing in our taps. We have to buy water daily, or we have to go to the next community, which is Kamvli. We have to go to the dam, which is nearly dried up. Currently, we have 2 wells, one that was commissioned yesterday by our honorable MP in Banyamni, that is supporting the community with water, and then one also in the Kamvli Tunaile.
Let's come back towards the coast. And have you ever wondered where the geographer that played a critical role in getting Ghana's map in place is from? What about Dr. James Agre? Well, in our Ghana Month series, Richard Kojo takes us to Anumabo, one of the places of historical significance in Ghana, to tell the story of these great icons in the country's history.
Dr. Agre, Nana Amonu the 4th, and then the last one, George Ferguson. These individuals are all indigenes of Anumabo. These people contributed beyond Ghana and Africa.
Victor Sejisi is a site manager for the Anumabo Memorial Garden. In this garden stands 3 great monuments beautifully sculpted. Dr. James Agre, George Ferguson, and Nana Monu IV.
These these three individuals are all indigenes of Anumabo. George Ferguson, we refer to him as Jesus Christ because he died at the age of 33. When we mention this young man's name, it reminds us of a what? Ghana map. He was assigned by the British to demarcate our borders. When you mention Dr. Kojo Akrey, then you are talking about girl-child education. His contribution to Ghana and Africa.
That's not all. Sculptures of returnees from their sojourn from the Americas, the Caribbeans, and other places are also here, and they speak boldly to the happenings some years back.
We are welcoming these generational slaves. So these people are generational. 400 years, their mothers, their fathers went through this fort, through the Atlantic Ocean, and then now we are welcoming all of them back. Their back is facing the Atlantic Ocean because they went through the fort, through the Atlantic Ocean. They are coming back.
The community folk here are excited about the contributions of Anumabo in the history of Ghana.
Queen often Kojo Akrey ofi Anumabo ha na mami finimabo na papa so finimabo na okobo no bro ogwe nto no the school Oziba Ghana.
Kwekun Kruma is a fisherman here at Anumabo. Kweku tells me how the town of Anumabo earned its name and how excited he and his colleagues are when the name of Anumabo is mentioned. Our forefathers came from Eja and came to settle at Anumabo. On their way, they saw many birds perching on a huge rock. They said, what kind of rock plays host to birds like that? So they said Rock of Birds, and that's how the name has become. I get really excited when they talk about the history of Anumabo. I'm proud because I also hail from here. All these are because of the exploits of our forefathers. Anumabo is one of the places the transatlantic slave trade was done. Fort Williams of Anumabo played a key role. In this same town is a second Methodist church to be built in Ghana. The folks here say Anumabo should definitely be everybody's destination in terms of tourism and the history of Ghana. Richard Kwejinyako, Joy News, Anumabo.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Fuel prices are likely to go up from 5 cedis 40 pesos to 5 cedis 90 pesos if the new taxes imposed on fuel price build-up take effect. In the 2021 budget, government proposed a sanitation and pollution levy of 10 pesos on the price per litre of petrol or diesel under the Energy Sector Levies Act. Now, according to energy consultant Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, the increase would be as a result of the new taxes on fuel stated in the budget. He, however, believes government could have surveyed the international market before coming to a conclusion on the new tax imposition on fuel price build-up.
Over the years or in time past, U.S. shale had the opportunity or was capable or had the muscle to be able to nullify, or if I may say neutralize, the monopolistic tendencies of OPEC. But as we speak now, it's looking like U.S. shale is not having access to the current price in the global oil market. So I was thinking that if you had looked at these dynamics in the international market and juxtapose that with the current prices that the consumer pays at the pump, which is almost like 5.4, I think probably with the 30 pesos cumulatively on the petrol prices, which will translate to about 5.7, the end user is going to pay. I think it will be difficult. It's going to be difficult. Don't be surprised it will catapult the price build up closer to 5.8, 5.9. And like I said, because this other component, which is the global crude oil prices, which nobody has control over, because that's the wildest component among the three, and we can't do anything about that.
Right.
And because we don't know where it's going to stable, I was thinking that with these fluctuations in the global market, we could have been circumspect and then hold on to this, prices that are built on that are placed on the price buildup.
Now, Islamic Banking is being promoted as a viable financial option for Ghana's development. A two-day seminar has been organized at the KNUST Business School to enlighten participants on the banking option. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reports.
We want to bridge the gap between the very rich and the very poor. And when we look at countries like Indonesia, for instance, look at countries like Ghana.
Although based on Sharia principles, Islamic banking is not restricted to Muslims only. The Islamic banking model is based on the principle of profit sharing, whereby the risk is shared between the bank and the customer. This system of financial intermediation contributes to a fairer distribution of income and wealth. Professor Mohammed Kamil Nail says strong ethical moral dimensions of doing business and selecting business activities to be financed play an important role in promoting socially desirable investments and better individual or corporate behavior.
For instance, if I come to the bank and I tell the bank I have a business that I'm doing, I need 1,000 Ghana cedi to invest in my business. Instead of the bank giving me a loan and I will pay interest, here the bank may have one of the contracts we call mudaraba, which is the bank will give me the 1,000, but the bank will have to ensure I'm a credit-worthy person. And the bank gives the 1,000. I will use the 1,000 and invest it in my business. The profit I accrue from that business, I share with the bank the profits based on what we have agreed upon. Maybe the bank bringing 1,000, the bank now can take, let's say, 60% of the profits, and I take 40% of the profits. And the next year come round, if you agree, then the bank will give me another money, the same 1,000, and then end of the year we have the profit, then we share 60-40. If by the time I get my second 40, it means now I have enough capital to stand on my own, then I return the capital of the bank to him, and therefore no more risk, and therefore I can now manage my business.
An independent investigation is done on individuals seeking financial assistance from Islamic Bank to verify their potential growth capacity. Companies whose financial practices and operations are too risky are generally left out by Islamic financing companies.
Yes. For that one, if you go currently in all the banks in Ghana, whether Islamic or not Islamic, all banks, they do that. Before they give you a loan, they check your credit worthiness. They check to see whether you have loans elsewhere. They ask you to bring your pay slip, right? They ask you to bring your pay slip. They check how much is your salary, how much can you take based on your salary. If they take this amount of money from you monthly, can you survive? Do you have family? Do you have other things to pay? All these are questions that they do just to be able to check your background.
Through intensive audit and analysis, Islamic banking promotes risk reduction and creates space for a greater investment stability. According to Professor Nail, in the Islamic banking industry, each bank will invest in promising business ventures and attempt to outperform its competitors. This, he says, will translate into a high return on investments both for the bank and depositors. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
And we have a full bulletin of business news coming up at the top of the hour. Welcome for standing by with sports. Stay tuned.
Still on the subject of Ghana Sports Administration, and Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, has reiterated government's commitment to the development of sports in the country. Speaking at the Ghana Olympic Committee Elective Assembly, Mr. Yusuf said the GOC is an important tool for the development of sport, and his outfit will collaborate with the body for the growth of sport.
The GOC, being an important stakeholder and ally in the promotion and development of sports in the country, government is keen in seeing the progress of the GOC, as its success or otherwise will have direct impact on our country's sports development vision and international image. As the National Olympic Committee of our great country, with a mandate to promote and facilitate our country participation in Olympic Games and other competitions such as the Commonwealth Games, government is even more determined for greater collaboration with the GOC and other federations to ensure successful realization of the objective mentioned earlier. Whatever we do as a government, GOC, Association of Federation, the ultimate objective for all of us is to develop our sports and represent our dear country well at international competition, especially the Olympic Games, Commonwealth, and African Games. Nations are already preparing for the rescheduled Tokyo Olympics, and in 2023, our country, Ghana, our dear country, will host the African Games. These competitions are special and important for all stakeholders to come together and to ensure that we take the needed steps to reach the desired height of our country in all aspects: preparation, organization, and participation.
Well, that's how we wrap up the sports here. My name is Oriku Ampofo. Up next is World News.